guys, welcome back to my channel. Hopefully it's not too dark and you can see me okay. It's a little bit later in the day than when I normally film, but I wanted to fill you in while it was still fresh in my mind about my IVF appointment yesterday. If you're new to my channel and you haven't been watching my IVF videos, I've already had 2 failed frozen transfers. I had to have frozen as opposed to fresh because I had polyps, so all of my eggs sadly had to be removed and frozen before I could go ahead with the fertility treatment. They couldn't put the embryos in while the polyps were there just because it caused too much of a risk really to success. Sadly, it's still not been successful, so 2 failed attempts later. However, I'm hoping 3rd time lucky, so keep your fingers crossed. Now, the reason why I'm coming on to do this video is just to kind of update you, but also to give some advice to people that might be in a similar situation. I actually paid for something called embryoscope monitoring. So basically, right from the beginning, when my embryos are being looked after and kept at the hospital, they're under a microscope. So people that work on the embryo, I don't know, the embryologists if you like, on the embryo department, they keep an eye on them and they're filmed and you can watch the film back and you can see how they're developing. It's just, I just felt like it would improve the chances of getting really good quality embryos. Research has shown that really does back that thinking up, so that's what I decided to do. Now, I haven't actually had an appointment though with the embryologist. I wasn't even aware that that was part of my package. So after 2 failed attempts, I hadn't actually spoken to anybody from the embryology department until recently when I had my failed attempt and I went for the follow-up appointment to basically discuss where it might have gone wrong. As I was chatting to the doctor, who's absolutely amazing, her name's Rena, she explained that I could actually get an appointment as part of my package with the embryologist specialist. She's absolutely fantastic. Her name's Geraldine, and I met with her yesterday. So at my appointment, I have written a blog about this, and if you don't read my blogs, if you just watch my YouTube, you might not be aware of the last development. But I went along for my follow-up appointment, and even though we were told they were high quality embryos, which they are, luckily they're really high quality embryos, or they were, but unfortunately, when it was defrosted, it turned into poor quality, but nobody told me that. So I had no idea before it went in that it was actually poor quality. I spent the whole 2-week wait thinking, oh my God, I feel a bit sick, I feel a bit dizzy, has it worked? And really and truly, it probably would never have worked because the quality of the embryo became poor once it had been defrosted. Now, if I'd have known that, potentially I'd have asked them to thaw another one, or I wouldn't have gone ahead with the transfer. I don't know what I would have said or how I would have felt, but I didn't know that, so that was a bit of a shock. So I was really quite upset about that. So what I've decided to do for this next round is, although I haven't had the natural killer cells test, I'm going to take the treatment as if I have got it. So I think sometimes you just need to do your research, be assertive and just ask questions. And I just asked if I could take the steroids, if I could take the blood thinners, and would there be any negative effects taking them if I didn't have high levels of natural killer cells. And natural killer cells can attack your own embryo. So if anything goes into the body that it doesn't think will be there, it'll attack it, and then IVF has got a very, very slim chance of working. It could still work, or you might even go on to have kids naturally. It has happened, but on the whole it can be a bit of a setback with fertility treatment. So I'm going to have the treatment as if I've got it. So we're going to take a different route. I'm still doing the Clomid, I'm still doing the pessaries, yay for the pessaries. Not, and I'm still doing the other bits and bobs, like I think I'll do the acupuncture again, etc. But the new drugs will be the steroid and the blood thinners, and I've not done that before, so hopefully that'll make the environment a lot more appealing and it will get rid of the natural killer cells. So fingers crossed that will work. So the appointment then, the big decisions that I've got to make, and I don't want to be dramatic by saying big decisions, but these decisions could have a massive impact on my life. So after chatting to the lovely lady, Geraldine, yesterday, I got some information. So I have 3 frozen embryos left, and I've just made a note on my phone to make sure I don't get this wrong because it's quite complicated. So I've got 3 frozen embryos left but only 1 attempt left on the NHS. So when you have frozen transfers, you get a few more goes. Normally you would just get 1 fresh cycle, but I'm getting 3 because I haven't got to do the meds every single time from scratch. I've already got the embryos in the freezer. So I've got 3 left. And the decisions I have are these. One decision is which embryo. So now I've had this chat with Geraldine, I know what grade they are, I know how they developed, I know what day they went into blastocyst, I know all of that information. I didn't know that before. You can ask those sort of questions, but I didn't know. The whole process is very overwhelming with IVF. There's a lot to remember. Some people seem to be experts and they know more than the doctors, and they just impress me so much with everything that they know. Other people like me feel like they're winging it sometimes. So I have 3 left, and number 1 is what they call 5BB. So that's the grade, and they were day 5 embryos. I have a second one which is 2AB, and they were day 5, and then I have another one which was a 5AA, which was day 6. So that was a little bit slower to develop, but it's higher grade. The number before the level, so for example 5BB, the number is the expansion, what it's expanded to, the hatching if you like. So it started to develop, it started to hatch. So the 5AA one, which did it on day 6, was slower. It was a little bit slower, but it caught up and it became a higher grade than the second one. So the 3 that I have, I've got to decide which ones to defrost and put back. And then the scary thing that I need to think about is, do I put 1 back or do I put 2? I would absolutely love to hear your experience of this. So if anyone's gone through IVF, or if anybody is the mother of twins, I'd love to know, because when it was suggested that I had 2 put back in, I literally burst out laughing. And I burst out laughing because it was a nervous laughter. It's a little bit of a running joke with my friends and my family that, oh, imagine if Nicola had twins. Like, I don't know if I would cope. I would be petrified. Now, I see beautiful twins on Instagram and they look so cute when they're both crying at the same time, not so much. Obviously, I really do want to have a baby, otherwise I wouldn't be going through all this. But 2 babies in one go, that's scary. Would anybody want to look after them if I need a break? Would I ever get a break? So yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that, needing 2 of everything. Oh, scary. So I'd love to hear your experience. If you had 2 put back in, did you end up with twins? If so, are you all right? Are you coping? Do you know your own name? Is it okay? If it's all you've ever known, I guess you just get on with it, to be honest. But yeah, it's a little bit of a fear, and I'm a little bit apprehensive whether to put 1 back in or 2. I did ask the question, how many people end up with twins that do put them both back in? And the answer is, actually, it's not that high. It's roughly around 25% end up with twins. So what can happen is one could potentially fall out, but the other one could stay in. So you might still just end up with the 1 baby. But then I'm scared that I've wasted an embryo. So if the next one doesn't work, that would literally leave me with 1 embryo left. And that would be a private one. I'd have to go private for that. So what do I do? I don't know. I was 100% against putting 2 back in, and then I thought, hang on, it could potentially increase the chances. I've only got 1 go left on the NHS. Shall I just go for it? It's something I've not tried before. Shall I just do it? But at the same time, I am petrified of having twins. So yeah, I'm sure it would be amazing. But in my head, I've only ever imagined having 1 child anyway, because obviously I've known for a long time that I couldn't have them. So just to have 1 would be incredible. So maybe 2 would be even more incredible. So when the embryos both go in, it can go one of 2 ways. They can either end up pushing each other out, or one can just settle nicely over there and one can settle nicely over there. So it's a gamble. IVF, the whole thing is a gamble, it's a lottery. So the decisions are, shall I put 2 in, shall I put 1 in, and which ones? So I asked the lovely lady what she thought, and she has given me a recommendation. She said put the number 1 in, which is the 5BB, which was day 5, and then number 3, which is the 5AA, which was day 6. So that was her recommendation if it was her. So really lovely of her to be so honest with me and listen to all my questions and be so patient. She was absolutely fantastic. The whole experience yesterday was a nightmare. My husband is a golf pro, so he teaches and coaches golf, and he has his own golf YouTube channel. Really good at what he does. So he changed one of his lessons to be able to come to the meeting with me, because a lot of these things I had to go on my own. I say had to go on my own. My sister would have come with me, or one of my best friends if I asked them to, but I'm quite independent with stuff like that. If Chris can't be there, I go on my own. So he normally can't be there because he's working, but he managed to move some of his lessons around so he could come to yesterday's appointment. And then there was an accident near where we live, so that delayed us. Still left plenty of time because we know the hospital is a nightmare to get parked. Got up to the traffic lights to get into the hospital, and they were queuing from there. So an hour and a half later, he just had to turn around and go. He couldn't even get parked to come to the appointment. So it was a real shame. I was really gutted, and I knew he really badly wanted to be there. So yeah, it's just one of those things. The parking is horrific. Honestly, I feel so sorry for the staff, and I feel so sorry for people that are really poorly and stressed and trying to get a space, and you can't even get into the place. So that didn't start off well, but overall I'm really glad that I went. I'm really glad that I went. So yeah, I would just love, because you've all been amazing so far, to hear your experience or your thoughts or your opinions. Ultimately it's going to be our decision, of course it is, but I don't think it hurts just to hear about other people's stories as well. So that's where I'm at. I've got a scan coming up, and then I'll have another scan, and then I'll have to start taking the steroids and the Clexine and the other drugs. So there's a few more injections. Apparently it's like a little bee sting. So I've got all of that to come, and then we'll have to transfer again, possibly end of Jan, possibly February, I don't know yet. It all depends how it goes. So do I put 1? Do I put 2? And which ones do I go for? I think I'll definitely go on the recommendation of the embryos, but I just need to decide 1 or 2. 2's better than 1. That's what they normally say, don't they? I know so many twins and they're absolutely amazing. In fact, one of my good friends from Slimming World is a twin, and she couldn't be more perfect and beautiful and an incredible human being. So, and I know she's super close to her sister. So I know there's a lot of pros to having twins. It's just a fear. It's just a fear. Would I be able to cope? So we'll see. It'd make interesting videos, isn't it? Me with no makeup, baby sick all over me, hair in a mess. Hi guys! A twin either side. So yeah, that's if it works, you know. I'm trying to be positive, and I'm trying to keep myself positive. So thank you so much for watching, guys. It's a bit of a gargled one, but yeah, I'm just trying to process it all in my own head as well as talking to you about it. So if you did enjoy this video, if you could just give it a quick thumbs up. If you can leave a comment below to let me know your experience, that would be amazing. Or any advice you want to offer is always just so lovely. It's massively appreciated. So if you want to continue following this IVF journey or my channel in general, then don't forget to subscribe for more videos. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. Take care. Happy fopping.